that makes defense lawyers more dangerous when they deal with become prosecutors, whether you're a public defender or a prosecutor. So don't bring up Johnny Cochran like he was winning cases by lying to black people and selling false hope. He wasn't. He was winning cases because he knew the law, he knew the facts, he knew the record, he knew the jury, he knew how to attack the state's case. That's the difference. And that's exactly what I'm trying to explain to you all what's happening. I'm not telling you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what the law is. I'm telling you what the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is going to do. I'm telling you why legal sufficiency is hard. I'm telling you why Batson is hard. I'm telling you why the jury charge errors depends on the record. This is the truth. And since when does telling you the truth about the legal process make somebody a sellout? I'm just saying. I'm qualified to teach law school. I have an LLM, which is a legal law master's degree. That's more than most of the lawyers you ever met. See, the truth doesn't become betrayal just because it hurts your feelings. Legal analysis doesn't become anti-black just because it doesn't give you the answer you wanted. And a lawyer is not boule, a sellout, or against his people just because he refuses to lie to black people for applause. If you want somebody to lie to you, it's plenty of people on the internet that have pimped themselves out for that. I'm not going to do it. I don't like you all that much to lie to you and spare your feelings. Don't you like having the fact that you have a lawyer who won't lie to you, who will tell you the cold, hard truth? Don't you like, isn't that refreshing? Somebody type refreshing in the chat room. Isn't that refreshing? Wouldn't you like to have mechanics and used car salesmen that won't lie to you and real estate agents? I'm telling you the truth, and you all are mad at me for that. If you all want somebody to tell you that Carmelo Anthony is about to walk free just because that sounds good, y'all need to go somewhere else. But if you want the truth, this is what it sounds like. That's it. Now, I'm going to take a point of personal privilege. Somebody type personal injury lawyer. As many of you all know, I am a civil litigation attorney. I'm a personal injury lawyer. I've been practicing law for 26 years. I'm licensed in 6 different states. Not 1, not 2, 6. I'm admitted to practice law in the United States Supreme Court of America. I'm admitted to practice law in the Fifth Circuit, United States Fifth Circuit of America, appellate court. I took the bar examination 1 time. I scored a perfect score on the Louisiana bar examination, handwritten, took 3 days, 8 hours a day. I have a bachelor's degree in biology from Grambling State University. I have a degree at Southern University, a law degree from the Southern University Law Center, a JD. Graduate 33 in my class. I have an LLM from Tulane in environmental and energy related law. Takes some people 3 years, took me 1 year. I took every class they offered, got finished in 1 year. My original plan was to be an environmental lawyer. I wanted to work for the EPA. I wanted to save the ducks and pigeons. I wanted to work for the government. But that's not what happened. I end up doing what I'm doing. And I'm not the first one in my family. I never wanted to practice criminal law. And a lot of it comes from the fact that I watched my father, Dennis F. Sperling. So I'm technically Dennis Sperling II. You all have met my son, my older son. He's technically Dennis Sperling III. My father practiced criminal law and family law in Houston for decades. He was licensed in California and Houston. He passed away in 2021. He also taught trial advocacy over at Thurgood Marshall School of Law. Many of the young lawyers that you see around here in Houston, Texas, many of them, not just young, but 40, they passed through his class. He taught trial advocacy. And I live with this man. You understand? So when I talk about trial lawyers and criminal defense courtrooms and juries and the pressure of representing people whose freedom is on the line, I'm not talking from the outside looking in. I grew up in this. I watched my father grind year after year. I watched him go to court. I watched him deal with clients. I watched him carry the weight of people's freedom, families, problems on his back. He was an excellent lawyer. People still talk about his reputation. I go in courtrooms right now. Oh, you're Dennis Sperling's son. But unfortunately, he was one of those lawyers who was basically died at his desk. Before him, there were other lawyers like Mr. Whitcliffe, one of the original black lawyers over in Third Ward where my dad shared office space. See, back then, black lawyers weren't allowed. They weren't welcome downtown in Houston. So they had to get a house office over in Third Ward or Fifth Ward or one of the black neighborhoods. I remember going in and out of places like that as a child. I saw those black lawyers practicing criminal law and family law for years. Somebody type black lawyer in the chat room. Texas Southern University has one of the best law schools in America, right here in Houston, Texas. So we have a lot of excellent black lawyers. They're doing hard work. They're doing necessary work. They're doing respected work, but never really getting ahead financially. And that's the part and that's part of the truth people don't like to talk about. A lot of black lawyers were locked out of the highest grossing parts of the practice of law. Number one, being personal injury. Somebody type personal injury. Somebody type personal injury. Somebody type personal injury. Personal injury is one of the most lucrative areas of legal practice. And it's always been an old boy network. That's where the real money is. And black lawyers were not exactly invited into that club. Fortunately for me, because of my education and my work ethic and my tenacity, I was able to get my foot in the door at a very small personal injury law firm in New Orleans after I did a one-year clerkship in Lake Charles, Louisiana, after I got an LLM from Tulane. That's why I started mastering my craft. And let me tell you something. Real personal injury practice isn't easy. People think it's simple because they see commercials and settlements. When I go into some of these courtrooms, I'm the only black lawyer there who practices personal injury. Most black lawyers do criminal, they do family law. They might do a little personal injury here, and they don't do what I do because it takes a lot of money up front. It requires a lot of paperwork pushing and a lot of overhead. People think it's simple because they see the commercials and the settlements, but it isn't. You have to master medicine, insurance, evidence, procedure, liens, expert, biomechanics, billing, damages, causation, trial strategy, and negotiation. They don't teach that in law schools. You have to learn that in the trenches. And you're very rarely going to find a black lawyer like myself who practices 100% personal injury law. And that should tell you something about the level of confidence I have in what I do and the path I choose. But even though I don't practice criminal law, I don't confuse that with me not understanding it. I grew up around it. I watched my father live it. I saw crime scene photos on the kitchen table. I was probably too young to see. I overheard conversations year after year with clients. I filed documents in his office. I served subpoenas. I saw how criminal defendants think. I saw how family members act when somebody's facing prison. I saw how hard lawyers work on cases where the public only sees the verdict. And one thing my daddy told me, always stuck with me, he said, criminal law is a no-win situation for the lawyer. If you do a good job and you get your client acquitted, the client may walk away saying, I was innocent anyway. I didn't even need a lawyer. But if you lose, the client gets convicted and they still say, you a bad lawyer. I didn't need you to lose. I could have lost by myself. And that's why one of the first lessons that criminal lawyers learn is they get their money before the trial. They get paid up front. Get your full fee before the trial date, because once the case is over, if the client doesn't like the result, they may never pay. My case is different. I practice personal injury. I only eat what I kill. So if I lose, then I don't get paid. And that's why I have a winning record.